that I'm the motherfucking GOAT.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Goat Talk. It was a crazy weekend for the NFL. A lot to get into. Super Bowl coming up, playoffs happening. Let's jump into it.
I feel like, only became an NFL podcast, and I think we should rename it to the Goat Talk NFL edition, the Goat Talk every other
It's
sport
not bad.
edition.
It's not gonna be full
No,
just
I
NFL.
know.
We're gonna do other sports,
I
but
know.
playoffs are playoffs. Come on.
Playoffs.
Talk about playoffs.
Great Jim Mora quote. Lots of things happen. I think first and foremost, we got to talk about the firings that happened in the NFL. Black Monday could be like another national holiday at this point. But late last night, not even getting to Monday, we have the Falcons, Raheem Morris, out as head coach, and then also their general manager as well gets fired. I wasn't surprised by this at all.
Not at all. Not at all.
I will say though, I think in this situation, I do you maybe keep Morris over the GM? I think the GM in this case, in my opinion, I think has definitely made poorer decisions than Morris. You talk about the Kirk Cousins contract that he comes in, and then you draft Michael Penix at the same time, and now you're playing Cousins, not Penix. So in my opinion, I think Morris actually unfortunately got the short end of the stick. Now he will now he's going to go back on the market. I think his probably head coaching days are over. That's my opinion, but interested to hear what you guys think.
Yeah, right. After the game, right, you had an interview with Bijan and Drake London, two star players of the Falcons, and they both backed and said they wanted Morris to stay.
Mm-hmm.
So, like you said, I agree where you say I think it's more on the GM than the coach. I think if you fire the GM and you keep Morris, I think that they could have something good going, but obviously they're both out, so it's going to be interesting to see who takes over now.
And if they didn't lose to the Jets, which is crazy to think, they would have won the division. They would be in the playoffs right now. So, you talk about the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, but you're a half game out of a playoff spot.
They also only beat us. We only beat them by what? 1.
Yeah.
I think it was 1 point.
They had a lot of close games.
Yeah.
Same thing with the Bucks too. Like everybody in that division, like the Bucks lost to Miami by like 3 points. Like there's a lot of games for both of those teams that could have went either way.
That division is a mess.
The division's terrible.
Do you think though, if they beat the Jets, they make the playoffs? Do you think Morris stays?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, at least a little longer because they'd be in the playoffs right now.
Well, yeah.
'Cause in my
That's what I'm saying. Like
opinion-
after if they were to get eliminated, then he gets fired, or he's just back next season.
No, I think he's back because you now look at a team in that division who I think head coach should have been fired in Todd Bowles over Raheem Morris, in my opinion. I'm not, obviously we're only 1 day into the off season for majority of the team, so it still could happen. But they fell apart. We were talking on here in September. Tampa is going to be a number 2 seed, maybe the number 1.
I had Baker
MVP.
winning MVP.
And now that's gone.
That.
So I think Todd Bowles arguably should actually have been fired, and again, maybe he still will be, who knows, but I'm surprised that one hasn't fallen yet.
Yeah, and Chris, like you said it last week too, like they got healthier, the Bucks, and they got worse. Like, and I think Sal, I think you said it last week. After that speech is when you kind of saw everything go downhill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it's really interesting because I've always kind of, I don't want to necessarily say feel bad for some of the head coaches, especially across all sports, right? Because they're not the ones that are out there, but you also have to have a program where your players are willing to buy into what's going on. You completely see the change. And again, I'll bring him up again, but like Mike Vrabel changed that whole locker room. They didn't add a whole lot of, you added dudes like Stephon Diggs, who's just been in the league for a long time, but he also had a lot of locker room questions like going into this season and everything. But you also have to have guys like those role players, like those not big name players that are willing to buy into what a head coach is all about. And Vrabel being one of those player coaches, right, is so huge for a locker room and just for a season altogether. And I feel like it's really hard to come across those. And that's why I kind of feel bad for some of these guys that get fired, like literally immediately after their season is over, because it's not 100% their fault, because the GM also has to go out and get the talent, build around your players, build around your stud players and everything. But I don't know. I also feel like a player's coach is very hard to come by. And for a team like Atlanta that just doesn't have, I mean, they have Bijan, they have Pitts towards the end of the season was really good. They have Drake London. They have a young quarterback who's, say what you want about him, like he's still young, anything can happen. But you also have to find the right fit for a coach that'll make all of the other guys buy into the system.
They also had a great defense. Their defense was great this year.
Yeah.
Like they had the pieces around it. And like everything that you kind of just said about like feeling bad, like I kind of, as you were saying that, like all I kept thinking was like Pete Carroll. I think that the Raiders' problems are a lot deeper and a lot worse than just your head coach.
Absolutely.
And a legendary head coach in Pete Carroll. So him getting fired, I mean, I don't want to say I'm surprised, but I think it was a little too soon.
He's a fall guy for the unfortunately. Like
exactly.
When it comes to certain franchises, cough cough, Raiders and Jets, it's well beyond the coach, and honestly, to me, it's beyond the GM. It's the ownership, at least. And I'm speaking as a frustrated Jets fan, right? Like, rightfully so. We've seen how many coaches, how many GMs, how many players come in, and nothing has changed.
Yeah.
I really think until we get new ownership, like and Woody Johnson's out of there, I think it's just going to be the same story year in and year out, no matter what you have. That's just honestly, it's almost like factual in my opinion at this point. We just see it year, no matter who we have, nothing changes. So when it comes to the Raiders, I could see a similar situation too. Maybe not as much because, well, maybe I don't know, but still.
I think to Pete Carroll's perspective, I think there comes a point in time where like you just have to hang it up. And I think in sports in general, whether it's coaches, players, like you're around the game for so long, you really never want to retire because you don't know anything different. You grew up playing the game. You grew up either then coaching the game or you were a player and then now you're coaching and maybe you're not super successful, but you hold on. It's like Aaron Rodgers, right? Like, and we'll get into that a little bit later, but sometimes it's just enough. What more do you have to prove? What really more did Pete Carroll have to prove? You don't want to come back and hurt yourself, and actually, put anything in jeopardy of the career you had, whether that's coaching or playing. And I look to another team in the Cardinals. I mean, you look at the Cardinals, like Jonathan Gannon kind of silently got hired a few years ago after the Eagles' first Super Bowl run. Both him and Shane Steichen came from that tree after the loss to the Chiefs. Really good seasons, decent coordinators. We haven't heard about the Arizona Cardinals in 3 years. I mean, there hasn't been anything good, bad, ugly about the Cardinals. They're just kind of like existing. They're just kind of like, oh yeah, that's a team that's there. And I'm not saying that like the Jets aren't that way or maybe the Raiders, like teams in that lower echelon, but like you hear more storylines around those teams because there's some flashes throughout the year or there's a reason why you're talking about it. Dude, the Arizona Cardinals are like haven't existed, I feel like. Everyone's like, oh yeah, we're playing the Cardinals this week. And that I think is a culture problem there. And I don't know what that is. And I don't know who comes in there, but it's like a similar situation. Like you need a couple of players to go there or a coach that players want to play for to go there. If you don't have that, if you don't get that in Vegas, if you don't get that for the Jets, if you don't get that for the Titans, if you don't get that coach right, and you get a couple of free agents to come there, you're just going to be in this misery of a future.
Well, who wants to come play with no disrespect, obviously, because but he just misses half the year constantly. Who wants to go what wide receiver wants to go catch for Kyler Murray right now?
Yeah,
well,
no,
I think you've seen his last game in Arizona. I don't
No,
expect
I agree, but what's your other option besides Brissett, who's probably not going to be there next year because he just seems like one of those journeyman guys that just is on a different team like every single year as the backup. He'll show out in like 2 games all year. What did he set the NFL record right this year?
Yeah. Realistically, since he took over, he did not play bad for them, like at all.
No, not at all. But you also have like who besides the tight end that just broke the reception
McBride.
record.
McBride,
McBride,
yeah.
who just broke the. But like, if
I mean, you have
I'm a
Marvin Harrison
quarterback that
Jr.
wants to go, if I'm a quarterback that wants to go play for somebody, like a rookie and a second-year wide receiver, probably not gonna persuade me to go there. So it has to come from the draft. And what pick do they have? They weren't terrible enough to have
Would it be
the
top
first overall
5?
pick. Is it a top 5 pick?
Yeah, I think so.
But I mean, do they draft a quarterback in a not so?
I
heavily
think they're going to
quarterback-
draft Jeremiah Love out of Notre Dame. You need a run game, but also to like your point, Chris. Like think about like the Vrabel, right? Like Vrabel players coach. Like you get a couple of players to come there, they know what he can bring, they want to play for him. Even like Stefanski, getting fired in Cleveland, people wanted to play for him. Now, do I think there's a lot of rumors maybe he didn't handle the coaching situation correctly? Now there's rumors maybe that Deion Sanders is going to come coach Shadur, which the Browns then will just be terrible because you're going to have to deal with Shadur, and that's going to be your guy, whether he's 1-15 or 15-1, and there's going to be no
That
in
would be a
between.
mess.
But I do think though, you need to get players to buy into an area. Even teams that are like, fringe teams, playoff teams every once in a while, like, a Buffalo or a Minnesota or a Kansas City. Like you got to get guys that want to play there, and where it's a market where people feel comfortable going to. Nobody wants to go to the Jets. Like nobody wants to go to the Raiders. Nobody wants to go to the Titans. Like those are teams people are like, well, the money's great, but I have nothing to play for. So it's interesting. And I think Stefanski is probably the one coach that's going to get a job. I don't think anyone else gets a head coaching job that had one previously.
I mean, he won what, Coach of the Year twice?
Twice.
Two-time Coach of the Year award winner.
And brought him back to the playoffs.
Yeah,
that's got
exactly.
Giants
That team to
written
the playoffs.
all over it.
Yeah.
And I think like kind of like what you were just saying, Sal, and even Chris, where you were saying it kind of starts in the draft too. It's like nobody wanted to come play for Buffalo. Nobody wanted to go play in the snow in the cold winter. We drafted Josh Allen. He became the player that we all know him as today. That's what drew people to be, oh, I would love to go play with this guy. I would love to go to Buffalo and play with there. So you can make something, like obviously the draft is a huge part. I just looked it up. The Cardinals actually have the 3rd overall pick.
Oh yeah, so
So
really, really high pick.
I could see
We
them
never
taking
knew
a
it too. That's the
quarterback.
sad part.
I mean, does Mendoza go 1?
Yes.
Yeah.
You would have to
Yes.
imagine, right? Like
I personally
because Geno
do
Smith
not like this draft class.
sucks. So
I don't like this
Exactly,
draft class
Geno.
at all. For offense. Defense, it's a great draft class. Offense, I do not like this draft class. Besides Jeremiah Love. He's the one player that I think is going to be good. A couple wide receivers in there, but it feels like a lot of like boom or bust. Like, I'm not a fan of it.
Yeah, definitely a big day in the coaching world in the NFL, and see what else falls. There's 6 head coaching vacancies right now. You got the Titans, the Giants, the Browns, the Cardinals, the Raiders, and the who am I missing?
You said Cardinals?
Cardinals,
Raiders,
Raiders, Titans,
Browns.
Giants,
Browns.
Browns, and then yeah, we got
Falcons?
it. I think Falcons.
Falcons.
Yeah.
If,
Oh,
okay,
Jesus.
before we move on, if you're a head coach, where do you go and why?
Not the Jets.
They don't need a head coach. I'm talking about the
I mean-
vacancy.
I know.
If
And even
I'm
as a-
Stefanski, I'm going to the Giants.
I think he goes to the Giants. My top 2 would be the Giants or, that sound crazy, Vegas.
Right.
I don't hate that idea.
Agree.
Dude, you have a great tight end in Brock Bowers. You have a good rookie running back in Gentney. You have the number 1 overall pick. Vegas it's a money market. Like, maybe players don't want to go there because they think they're going to get in trouble. Like, they don't trust themselves, which I could see. Yeah, that makes sense. You're in Vegas. But I think that would be, my first would be the Giants, but I would go to Vegas after them.
I think my thing about the Raiders is whether or not the front office is good enough and willing to buy into, because not only do they need a quarterback, not only do they need a couple of more wide receivers and things like that. I'm going to straight up say it. It might be the worst offensive line I have ever seen. So I think, I mean, obviously they're probably going to draft Mendoza 1, and then are they willing to maybe see if they can coerce some guys over from other teams, offensive linemen especially. And then like another big piece that we're missing that we haven't talked about yet is what's the Max Crosby situation. Like a lot of people think he's played his last down of football with Vegas. I know he really likes the city and like he wants to play for them, but that's also got to be a big piece. If he stays, then I think it's a little bit more enticing that players will come that way.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. I think one place that is probably the most set up for a head coach and you don't have to do a lot is Atlanta. And I think the Giants are maybe just a step behind, but I think the thing with Atlanta that a lot of people, we've talked about the weapons that they have with Drake London, Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts. They have a really stout defense. They have a good kicker. They're not too many pieces away. Again, we just talked about they were a half game out of a playoff spot, winning the division. Matt Ryan's being talked about being the president of player personnel. He's probably going to be in the front office. A good group of guys to be around, and I just think Atlanta's probably one of those destinations more so than anything. The Giants probably close second with the rookies they had and looking for that development, but I think the Giants are again a place where if they do things right and they get the right hire, you could see a lot of people and players in free agency want to go to New York.
I think there's promise there with New York, with Jackson Dart, with Skadden coming back. I think that there is a lot more upside than some other places personally. Getting Skadden back will obviously be super crucial.
And neighbors.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah,
they have a really good young
trio. That young trio there. They just got to come back to the way they were and stay healthy.
And their defense is really good on paper. They didn't perform this year, but like going into the season, like I would have thought looking at that defense that they would have had the best defense line in football. Because like on paper, their defense is crazy. And to add, I mean, they just underperformed completely. They had a lot of injuries and everything, but that's the game and that's what happens. But I just looked it up too. And to add to the Vegas point is next season, they're going to have the second most available cap in the league. So you could go out and sign guys. The Titans are 1 and Vegas is 2.
It's whether or not they actually do that, because I mean, don't know him personally, don't know anybody, but Mark Davis just doesn't seem like the dude that's just going to actively go out and try and do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing, like Tom Brady and I think, what is it, John Spytek? He's the GM.
I think so, something like that. Yeah.
They have those are 2 young guys. They got to figure out, you got to get a couple of people there. And you have to want people to buy in, whether it's the line, whether, whatever the situation is, the Oakland Raiders, now the Vegas Raiders, historically, they have not been known for good characteristics. And they've been, it's been brutal the last 10, 15 years or so. I mean, they've made 1 playoff game probably in the last decade with Derek Carr, and they got shut out in Houston. I mean, it was brutal. So,
when was their last Super Bowl? 84? 1984?
70s.
No, they won one in 84. I'm pretty sure they won one.
Maybe it might be the 80s. I think it's 70s, but
the Raiders.
I thought that was the Bears that won it in 84.
That's 85.
Oh,
the 85 Bears.
Yeah, showed my number skills.
I mean, also then with
my Raiders fan soon to be wife here. What is it?
84.
It is 84. Okay.
There you go.
Lucky win.
With Vegas, and you're talking about Brady.
Belichick.
Can he convince Belichick to come there?
Nope.
It's perfect. A circus in Vegas? Like, are you kidding? It's perfect.
Belichick's going to coach not even 6 games for the UNC Tar Heels this year, and he's going to be laughed out of UNC. They are going to the donors are going to open up the wallet and the checkbook and say, "Here you go. Thanks for playing.
Get out of here."
Gone. See ya. It has to. Well, lots of coaching carousel options, and we'll see how things play out. We'll monitor it obviously throughout the next couple of weeks. But diving into week 18, all the way up from to games 272, we finally reached the 14 teams left in the playoffs, and we have our official postseason for the NFL underway. Maybe 1 year, the entire Goat Talk podcast will be in the playoffs, but there's hope for 3 out of the 4, but maybe we're wrong. We'll see at some point.
Let's be honest here. That's not happening for me.
Hey, you never know. You never know. But first, let's just kind of go through these matchups and see what we got going on. I believe Saturday is the Packers and the Bears, the third meeting there, and then I also believe on Saturday it is the Panthers and the Rams. Is that correct? Those are the 2 Saturday
Correct.
games. So
Yes, Bears got the night game.
Carolina's already beat the Rams at home, so be an interesting matchup. So how are we feeling about the Saturday games? What are we thinking?
I'm actually excited to watch the Packers-Bears game.
I agree.
Oh yeah,
I think that's going to be a really good game. I do think the Bears come out on top, but I do think that's going to be a better game than the Rams and Panthers game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'm
Go ahead, Chris.
I'm interested to see, because I feel like the last time we saw the Rams and the Panthers play, like obviously in Carolina, and there was also weather that was affecting everything really, and so I think that has something to do with it. What version of Matt Stafford are you going to get? I mean, he's been dynamite all season, don't get me wrong, but like his 2 more noticeably worse games was the one against Carolina. So it'd be interesting to see what version. Is Devontae Adams going to be healthy? Do we know? I would have to imagine.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think they were sitting him out to get him healthy for playoffs.
Mm-hmm, yeah. So I'd be really interested to see what Carolina throws at them as far as like a defensive scheme, especially because that wide receiver room is stacked. So I think personally the Rams win that game. But I think it's going to be a great game. I think it's going to come down to like the last possession, but I think the Rams win that game. And I will take the Bears in the other game. I think that's also going to be that. I mean, we're starting off the playoff weekend with, I think, really 2 really, really, really great football games.
Yeah, I think just like you guys said, the Bears, I think, have that game. I'm not going to say it's going to be easy because anything can happen in the playoffs. But I do think the Bears. Going off of the next game with the Rams and the Panthers, right? I think you guys nailed it on the head with the weather being an impact, right? The Rams play in a dome when it's bad weather.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they don't know how to play in weather that's not, like climate controlled, but if the conditions are what last week were when they played against the Bucks, it's going to be a ground and pound game, I feel like, at that point. So I do think the Rams will come out on top in this game. I think they just have too much firepower. But, again, anything can change with those games. So,
Bears Packers pains me. It really does.
That is pain for you.
But one of these teams have to win, right? And I guess if one's gonna win, I'd much rather it be the Bears over the Packers. I would love if the Packers could be bad for 10 years. Like if the Packers became the Jets, I would love it. Somehow,
I'll take that trade.
If they could become as like Packers fans just
swap
need to
ownership.
Well, the Packers don't even have any owners, but but besides the thing is here is the Packers fans are so spoiled, and I'm just tired of it. I just am. I'm not going to go on a Packers rant here, but I'm just
Keep your
tired
mouth
of it.
shut, Chris. Keep your mouth
Hopefully,
Listen, I will take that. I'll take that.
I can't deal with it. Because here's the thing, Chris. I don't really care with the Patriots because it doesn't affect me, right?
It's a division thing. I get you. Yeah.
Do I want to see did I want to see the Patriots in every year? Like at some point you get tired of it no matter who it is, unless it's your team. Like Chiefs, same thing. Everyone was tired of seeing it. The thing is though, is like the Packers have had so much luck that it shouldn't even work. It just shouldn't even be luck anymore. Like I just want it. They just need to be bad at some point. Anyway, that's that side rant. But I'm gonna go against the grain here, and I'm gonna take Carolina to beat the Rams at home.
Wow.
The reason I say that is
I love
because
it.
I think Carolina has nothing to lose. Carolina is the team that's like, they have nothing to lose. They're like, prove it. You're here. You got here. You're an 8-9 team. You're playing the Rams. You've already beat them once. It's hard to beat a team twice, but I think they can do it. I think if Rico Dowdle can get going, I think if Bryce Young can just play complementary football, I think they have a really good chance at winning this game. I mean, they played a really close half against Seattle. And I know that I say half, not a full game. But if they could just do a little bit of what they've done throughout the year and kind of piecemeal their good games together, I think they got a chance. I'm not saying it's a blowout, but I picked Carolina to win that game.
The thing
love it.
about Carolina, and it's a little crazy,
Uh-oh.
the last two times that Ohio State has won a national championship, they opened the season against the Jaguars,
Oh God.
and J-Lo has gotten divorced. They've made the Super Bowl. The past two times that happens in the same year, they made the Super Bowl.
Well, what was the Seahawks one? It's
Yeah,
like every time
Seahawks,
there's a
same
new
thing.
pope, there's a new pope elected, the Seahawks go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and every time
Like-
they've been the 1 seed, they've gone as well. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it'll be interesting. And then flipping over to Sunday, big slate of games Sunday. We have the first one, Bills, Jags. The second one, I believe, is Patriots, Chargers. The third one, or they're the third one? Are they the Sunday night
Yeah,
game?
We're
Patriots
the
is that
8
night
o'clock
game.
game. We're the
Okay,
8
so they're the
yeah.
Sunday night game. And then the middle game is the Eagles 49ers. So what are our predictions for Sunday's slate?
I think
Joey
they're all
goes
going to be
first.
bangers, put it that way. I think they're all going to be such good games.
Like, why
Um,
don't you go first since we're the non-bipartisan
Yes.
parties here?
I will start off with the Bills and the Jaguars. That is going to be such a good game, right? Jaguars up and coming this year. Did not expect them to be this good this year. What? What is so funny?
Nothing's funny. I'm just laughing at Joey's reaction, not at you. I promise.
Oh, it's the Bills game. That's fair. The Bills. Let's see. I'm gonna just cut to the chase right here. I think the Bills win this game. I think experience plays a big role here, right?
Okay.
Josh Allen's been to the playoffs many of times, right? He's unfortunately had to face a guy named Patrick Mahomes in almost every one of those playoff rounds. That dude ain't here, right? So that could be different. This could be the year the Bills go. They have the quarterback for it, right? He is a top 3 quarterback in the league. You could argue he's the best quarterback in the league sometimes, you know? I think that is the Bills' game. It's not going to be a blowout by any stretch, in my opinion. Jaguars are a scary team, right? And it wouldn't shock me if it went either way. But I think the Bills, with their experience, would take this game.
Next one.
I'm going all three? Okay.
Just go all three. Yeah,
All
just
right,
go
I'll
all
send
three.
it. Next game, 49ers, Eagles. That game, another banger, in my opinion, right? 49ers played recently against – oh, wait, no. Thinking of a different game. Never mind. Anyway, 49ers and the Eagles. I think it's going to be such a good game. I think the Eagles win this one. Strictly based on the fact that home field is super helpful in Philly. Those fans are not very nice. I think that's going to be another close game. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. Just my little hot take there. Okay, but I got the Eagles in that game. And then the night game, I would love to say the Chargers win that game. I really would. I just don't think it's going to happen. So I got the Patriots winning that game. I know they've done way better on the road this year. Like, they haven't lost on the road, the Patriots. You still want a home game in the playoffs no matter what. I don't care if you have a better record. Okay, it's too small of a sample size to be like, oh, they're bad at home. No, they're going to be, I think that they take that one. I think that one might be the least close game, personally.
All right. Greg's got his picks in.
Not a blowout, but the least close game.
Sally,
I
you're
think-
unbiased here too.
I know.
You are?
I'm going. So first game, Bills Jags. I think this is the end of the Sean McDermott era for the Buffalo Bills. I think that the Buffalo Bills lose this game against
Which
the
Joey wants,
Jacksonville
by
Jaguars.
the way. Joey wants that.
I don't want to lose.
But you don't want
I wouldn't mind losing McDermott, but I don't want to lose the game.
And here's why I say this. Yes, all the stars line up this year. It's finally the Bills' time. You know, they there's no Burrow in the way, there's no Brady in the way, there's no Mahomes in the way, there's nobody in the way. The AFC is wide open, except the Bills are their own worst enemy this year, most importantly. If this was the Bills of last year, if this was the Bills of 2 years ago, I'd say hands down, I don't care if the Bills are on the road, I don't care if they're at home, they're the AFC representative in the Super Bowl. But this year, the Bills have continuously hurt themselves, and a team like Jacksonville, who has been disciplined, who went into Denver and beat Denver pretty handedly and has had a really successful year. The last 3 weeks, I believe they put off over 35 points. Trevor Lawrence has had like 9 touchdowns in the last 2 weeks. Their defense is playing well. The only thing that the Bills, I think, have going for them over the Jaguars is their run game. If James Cook gets going, it can take the pressure off Josh Allen. But if Josh Allen has to sit back there all day and throw the ball, they will not win this game. And I'm sorry to say it, but I just don't think this year is the year for them. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope maybe I come back on here on Monday and you're like, Sal, screw you, you're wrong, Bills Mafia, whatever. That'd be great. I'm not rooting against him. I'm just saying I think that right now, the way they've played, they haven't played a complete game in the entire month of December. Jacksonville has. It's just a tough matchup. It's a tough draw for them. So I give Jacksonville the edge in that one. And then second game, 49ers all the way. I'll never root for Philly. I have nothing else to say about that. Third game, Patriots, Chargers. I think sitting Justin Herbert last week is going to hurt the Chargers. I think Drake May in his first game, it's going to be nerve-wracking. They're going to be at home. There's a lot to play for. The Patriots haven't had a home playoff game since Brady was there. A lot on the line. They're the 2 seed. They can host the next week in the divisional round, potentially host the, whoever it's going to be. Have an opportunity even at hosting the AFC Championship game. I give the edge just to New England because they're home. I don't think the Chargers really play well on the road. I think the Chargers defense is good, but I think New England's pass rush is better than the Chargers, so I give New England the slight edge.
All right. So I'm not going to agree with Sal on all your points. I do agree, though, that this is our best chance to make the Super Bowl since we've had Josh Allen. There's no Lamar, there's no Burrow, there's no Mahomes. Nobody's in our way besides ourselves. I agree on that. Because this is, in my opinion, the worst Bills team that we've had since we drafted Josh Allen. This is not like you said, last year, 2 years ago, those teams were good. High hopes for those teams. AFC Championship. Yeah, we lost, but we still made it there. We do beat Jacksonville this week. We do. You got a rookie head coach. Congrats, you had a great season. It's over now. Your season's done. Like, we'll see you next year, buddy.
Cock your shit. Cock your shit, boy.
Yeah, the guy's a geek. We're gonna go into Jacksonville. We're gonna beat them. It's not gonna be a blowout. It's gonna be a close game. It's gonna come down to the last play. It's gonna be a heart attack the whole game to watch it. It's gonna be
checking in on you, dude.
Oh, dude, I probably won't even touch my phone until the game's over. And depending on the result, I don't know if I'll touch my phone. But it all depends on, like you said, James Cook. The leading rusher, he just won the rushing title. If we could get him going, he's hard to stop. And then Josh Allen. We all know Josh Allen, former MVP. We know how he plays. He turns into Superman. He puts the team on his back. I'm not worried about our offense against their defense. It's our defense against their offense that worries me. Because their offense is very high-powered and high-scoring. They play fast. They're good. They're a very good team. I'm not taking that away from them. I'm not denying that. But I will obviously just never say that we're going to lose. That's just never going to happen. So we're going to win this game. It's going to be close, but we're going to win. Eagles-Niners. I think if the Eagles defense comes in fully healthy, they play how they played against the Bills a couple weeks ago, Jalen Carter, if he could get going, it's the best defense in the league. Not statistically, but just my opinion. If Jalen Carter could get going, He's the best, in my opinion, one of the best defense linemen in the league. It's hard to stop him. The amount of chaos he's caused on all offenses, he's just very good. If you could get him going and get that defense going, I think the Eagles win this game, especially being at home. I think that helps them a lot. Patriots, Chargers. I mean, the Chargers win this game. I don't know what else you expect me to say. You're gonna sit here and expect me to say New England's gonna win. That's never gonna happen. The Chargers are gonna win this game, but I do think it is a good game. I think it's a good game, but I think it's a low-scoring game. I think both defenses come and they show out. I think it's gonna be a low-scoring game. I'm just giving the edge to the Chargers because I hate New England.
All right, Joey. So fuck you. So the Jaguars. No, I'm just kidding. No,
I don't expect you to say that the Bills are gonna win.
Both teams suck. Shut up.
So I think that first game is really tough because I've always been a real believer that when it comes to the playoffs, it's whoever gets hot at the right time. And you see it a lot of the times, like, especially in the NHL and the MLB, whoever's the hottest closer to the playoff picture or when the playoffs begin usually tends to go on those unexpected runs that you don't expect, I think the Bills win this game. I think they win it in overtime.
Ooh.
Not what I expected.
I think like the Bills win this game in overtime, and I think that is strictly just based off the fact that the Bills are so good in the second half, and they're so good when it comes down to the crunch time. Because I think the Jaguars do go up in this game in the first half because of how like history will repeat itself with the Bills like that. Typically they start the games very slow, especially on the defensive side of the ball, and offensively you've seen it not just click. Like the running game just doesn't get going. The receivers just like, who do the Bills even have? But then for some reason in the second half they just turn it on, and Josh Allen has that takeover gene that I think because of the inexperience of the Jaguars, besides Trevor Lawrence. But I mean, people will say that Trevor Lawrence has won a ton. I'm like, yeah, I know. He's won a ton of national championships in high school games. This is the NFL. This is a totally different ball game, right? You have dudes that are playing for their legit lives on the field against you. So I think Bills win in overtime. It's going to be a crazy game. That's all I got to say about that one. I think the 49ers wipe their ass with the Eagles. And I say that because I hate Philly. And I don't think it's a good way. I'm trying to figure out a good way to say this. I don't think they deserve all the respect that they get as far as being like an 11-6 team, because I'm like, some of the games that they win, they're like the sloppiest games I've ever seen in my life, both offensively and defensively. Joey, you do bring up a good point that their defensive line just creates chaos like you wouldn't believe, but especially with how well the 49ers have played. I mean, last week they run into like literally the number 1 seed in the Seahawks. So, but I just think that offense is just too overwhelming. Brock Purdy is playing out of his fucking mind right now. So I think, excuse my French, but I do think the 49ers go into Philly and they trounce Philadelphia. And then we can see people climbing up the greasy poles, talking their shit on the internet and everything, and flipping cars and whatever. The last game, I'm terrified because I think whatever happens with the season, you can come away with a lot of positives. I do think the Patriots win this game. I don't think it's by much, because I think we know. I agree to you a little bit, Sal, I do think that Herbert missing last week's game does hurt the Chargers a little bit. but we all know what Justin Herbert can do when he's on, when he's clicking. And I just don't think the Patriots have the right pass rush to really super affect his game. They have a good pass rush, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. I do know that I think the Patriots win. I really do believe that they win this game. I don't think it's by much. I'm really praying it's not a scenario that we had with the Bills a few weeks ago where we're up by 30 and then we just let them crawl back in. I just hope they keep the foot on the gas and they just keep going and they keep going. So I think I'll take the Patriots. I'll take my Patriots.
One more game to pick before we sign off. Tyler Loop lines up for a 44-yard field goal, wide right. Ravens miss the playoffs. Lamar Jackson says a couple of potentially interesting things in his press conference. Harbaugh uncertainty, haven't really heard much about it. Aaron Rodgers makes the playoffs with the Steelers, has like one good throw, but granted, Kyle Hamilton left the game. Ravens defender falls down. A lot of things went wrong in that game for both teams. Houston comes to town Monday Night Football. Mike Tomlin, 20-3 on Monday Night Football in his career. 12-0 at home on Monday Night Football. This is the first game in the playoffs for the Houston Texans that they have not played in the Saturday 4:30 slate. Lots of, for all of you statistic people out there and all the different scenarios of, well, on this day, the moon rose this side of the world and we won the game because of that. And as Joey alluded to, Ohio State earlier and all those other implications and things out in the world. Who wins the final Monday night game of the wild card round? Pick 'em.
I think this is the least close game in the entire playoffs in the first round.
And who wins?
I think Houston wipes the floor with them.
Okay. Chris also agrees Houston. Joey's definitely not rooting for the Steelers. I could already tell you he's picking the Houston Texans.
I have to go. I think the Houston Texans defense, and you want to talk about a group of players that have bought into their head coach, right? Like that guy would literally, I literally see him running up and down the sideline like he wants to play the game. So but that defense I think is it's going to be too much for old ass geriatric Aaron Rodgers. They're going to chase him around until he needs an oxygen tank. And not to mention that it just, I talked about it with the last couple games. It's just sloppy. It's very sloppy, and you just can't do that against a defense as hot as the Texans defense right now. And for as much crap we were talking about CJ Stroud in the beginning of the season, he's come back to life a little bit. He's not perfect. He's not rookie year CJ Stroud where he just lit the world on fire. But he's doing enough, and he's good enough at this point where he can allow his defense to kind of more or less win him ball games because of how good that defense is. So I take the Texans. I don't necessarily think it's close. I don't think it's the biggest blowout because I think the 49ers-Eagles game, I think the Eagles are going to lose by at least 20. But however, I do think the Texans win pretty handily.
I mean, like Sal said, there isn't really much for me to say. Monday Night Football in Pittsburgh. Tomlin, all of his records and everything. Houston having one, if not two, best defenses in the league. They're top two, whether they're one or two, you could argue it with Denver. Great defense. Their offense has really clicked. But give me the Steelers. The Steelers win this game. Houston goes to Pittsburgh.
Who is this man?
Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers pull off an upset, if you want to call it. Steelers win this game.
He's smoking all that crack tonight, dude. Holy.
Sounds like a bald bet if I ever saw one.
We'll see.
I'm going to do my best Joe Buck impersonation here. Boswell's going to trot out onto the field for a 47-yard game winner. Snap, spot hold Boswell, and it misses. It's wide left. And Houston wins the game. That's how it's going to go, folks. Boswell's going to come in, shank it, Aaron Rodgers is going to cry on the sideline, retire, go into his darkness retreat 2.0, and Aaron Rodgers is no longer going to be in the NFL.
This is like
That's
Sal's
how I
dream
see it.
scenario right here.
Yeah.
I love a good underdog.
I don't think Sal's gonna watch any other. There's gonna be 2 games that Sal watches. It's gonna be the Packers Bears, and he's gonna be rooting hard for the Bears. I feel, and it's gonna be this game, the Monday night game, because he is gonna will that Houston team to a victory just so he can see Aaron Rodgers retire at the end of the game.
Yes.
I can't wait till we're here next Monday filming, like as the game's going on, and I'm like, told you guys, there's another Rodgers touchdown.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
We're not
bro,
checking
bro.
the results,
Aaron.
by the way.
I will, dude. I don't know what I'll do if the Steelers win this game. It's gonna. I just don't see it happening.
Let's just hope when we come onto this podcast next Monday, it's not just Greg and I, because if you both lose, we are going to have a tough Monday. We're going to have a tough Monday.
Oh, yeah.
Hey,
and
good point. Couch is warm.
So it's gonna be an interesting one. But lots of exciting things going on for Goat Talk. I think I'm gonna put a little something together, Joey, for you to post out on social. For not a video but a graphic I came up with during this episode. And as always, close us out, and we'll be ready to roll and see everyone after the wild card.
Before we go, I don't care that the regular season's over. The season goes too fast every time. That does not mean that the bald bet does not happen.
Thank
Greg,
you.
what do you
I was
got?
so
Come
concerned
on.
for a second.
Come
I
on.
was genuinely concerned. I'm raising my hat like, where is this at? Come on now.
What do
This
we
is
got?
why this is what the contract negotiations were about.
Listen. Ball bet is a priority, and I know it has not been a strong year of bets for me. I've had many of my colleagues telling me that whatever I do bet, they put the opposite, and that's okay. You know what? At least I'm getting one way or another. You know what? Things happen for a reason. I'm not doing any worse than the Jets are, so it's what it is. However,
Same
ball bet
record.
this week.
Same record.
Ball bet this week. A couple of you, Chris especially, mentioned I think this game's not going to be close. I think it's going to go the other way around. I think the Eagles beat the 49ers. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. That's my just straight up bet right there. I think the Eagles pull that game off. Their Super Bowl experience helps them a lot, right? They know how to win games. Again, if it's the same Eagles team as last year, I don't think so. However, they have the pieces to win this game. 49ers are a scary team, and if McCaffrey is going, I could very well be wrong with this bet. But my prediction is the Eagles pull this game off against what I want. Listen, I would love for the 49ers to win. I am not an Eagles fan. I do not like the Eagles. So if my bet's wrong, I'm not going to be totally mad. But I do think the Eagles win this game.
You can't wish it into existence, Greg.
I'm not wishing it. I'm just telling you what it is. I'm telling you my personal preference.
Because what's the over under? 44.5. It's gonna dude.
I am not doing a bet with that because I will mess that up royally like I always do.
The 49ers are gonna. I don't even know how it's gonna be possible. The 49ers are gonna go score 41 and the Eagles will score 3. That's how confident I am.
Wow, Chris. Think.
All right, everybody. As always, thank you for tuning in. Quick little shout out to my boy James Cook on winning that Russian title. My dog. If you're new here, like, comment, subscribe. If you're returning, as always, thank you. We really appreciate it. Stay tuned. We still have some Super Bowl news to announce, so that will be coming later on this week on our social medias. So stay tuned for that. And let's have a good first round of the playoffs. Go Bills.